Good evening. My name is Ethan Sperry, and I'm the Barry Stoll Professor of Choral Music at Portland State University. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the second part of Still We Rise, two online concerts produced by the choirs at Portland State University in the fall of 2020 in the midst of the COVID pandemic. Tonight you're going to hear from the Rose Choir, our audition tenor bass choir, and the Thorn Choir, our audition soprano alto choir. Because of the gathering limit at PSU, we had a 25-person indoor or outdoor gathering limit. We decided to restrict the number of people in these choirs so that they could rehearse as full choirs all quarter. So they were meeting twice a week outdoors to rehearse. And as the quarter drew to a close, we rented St. Philip Neri Catholic Church in Southeast Portland to record the tracks. But with the surge in COVID, we had to wrap up a lot earlier than we thought we were going to. So we actually snuck into Lincoln Hall at Portland State and used the lobby, and in one case, the recital hall on a day that we weren't able to get St. Philip Neri. So if you're watching last night, you're going to see several different concert venues in this program. You'll also see one piece where we were only able to get an audio recording. And in that case, my friend, great painter Mary Chemenko-Hinckley, gave us the use of some of her paintings to create the visuals for that piece. So that's something to look forward to later in the program. In addition to facing the COVID pandemic over the past few months, our country is facing a renewed push for social justice. And no area of our society is immune. I think anyone who's gone to classical music concerts knows that it's a whole lot easier for a white man to get their music performed than anybody else. So we've tried to focus on music from other sources. The concerts are inspired by the poem Still I Rise by Maya Angelou that you'll hear set to music by Rosephanye Powell at the conclusion of this concert. A very powerful testament to how we face adversity. I'm really grateful to her and to others for sending their music this way, and you'll hear from most of the composers as the concert goes on tonight. I'm also extremely grateful to our audio engineer, Andrew Kent, who worked his best to filter out some of the noise. When we recorded St. Philip Neri, they have an upgraded HVAC system to help fight COVID, but makes a lot of noise on the recordings, and he's been doing great work for us for a decade and worked his hardest to minimize that. And a huge thank you to Mauricio Valdarian, who has been the videographer for both of these evening's projects. These aren't people that choir directors always need to do a concert, but having artists and with these skills to work with you, it's just a wonderful thing. I also want to take the time to thank the students. We had very few in-person classes at Portland State this fall. So for a lot of the people singing in these choirs, it wasn't just committing to in-person education, but they were doing all their other classes online and then had to commute to campus just for these choirs. And to persevere to make art at this moment in time is a real challenge. Tonight's concerts are free, but if you'd like to support somebody, support them. You'll see a link on your screen now, and you'll also see it in the social media platform that you're watching. But if you go to this link and make a donation, maybe the price of a concert ticket, maybe a little bit more, all of that money will turn into scholarships for the students in these choirs. Thanks again for joining us, and enjoy part 2 of Still We Rise. And surprise, it's me again. Sometimes things don't go exactly how you'd like. Our first piece on the concert tonight is by Rosephanye Powell, one of the few composers who actually did not send me an introductory video for this piece. And that's a shame because she's a really brilliant woman, and I hope you get to hear from her someday. She's a wonderful composer and singer and voice teacher, and writes in a variety of different styles. She actually wrote the last piece in tonight's concert, which is a gospel setting of Maya Angelou's famous poem, Still I Rise, which inspired the title of these concerts. And we're going to begin the concert with the Rose Choir singing her setting of Non Nobis Domine, a short Latin prayer that she's said in this dramatic and energetic format with lots of polyphony and just tremendous energy that characterizes her music. She's one of the most prominent African-American female composers in our country. And so you're going to hear the Rose Choir with a static camera in Lincoln Hall. We had planned to record this just a few days ago, but with the recent COVID spike, we decided to wrap up all our recording at the last minute just before Thanksgiving. So here we go.
The next piece on tonight's concert is Make Them Hear You, which comes at the end of the 1996 musical Ragtime. In this song, Coalhouse Walker Jr., a popular black ragtime pianist, has taken hostages into a bank to get justice for his wife Sarah, who was tragically murdered at the hands of the Secret Service at a vice presidential rally. Near the end of the song, Coalhouse emphasizes that there are numerous ways that one can get their voice heard, when he states, "Your sword can be a sermon, or the power of a pen. Teach every child to raise their voice, and then, my brothers, will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men." I hope you enjoy Rose Choir's performance of Make Them Hear You.
This next piece is a sea shanty arranged by Alice Parker and Robert Shaw. Alice Parker is one of the most prolific American female composers and arrangers, having over 500 different works in her catalog. She is best known for her work with spirituals and folk songs in particular. There are dozens of different arrangements of this particular melody, which pick and choose between the dozens of different verses available for this song. Old-time sailors back then used rhythmic melodies like these while working on sailing ships, which back then required lots of synchronized moving and pulling of ropes. Today, we use them to have a little bit of fun with our choirs and pretend to be gross and smelly sailors. Join me in listening to the Portland State Rose Choir with soloist John Gladen.
Oh, blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down. Hey, blow the man down. Blow the man down, bullies, blow him away. Give me some time to blow the man down. We went over the bar on the 13th of May. Hey, blow the man down. The other jumped and the gale came away. Give me some time to blow the man down. As I was a-walking down Paradise Street, hey, blow the man down. A saucy young damsel I happened to meet. Give me some time to blow the man down. I says to her, Connie, and how do you do? Hey, blow the man down. Says she, none the better for seeing of you. Give me some time to blow the man down. Oh, sailors is tinkers and tailors is men. Blow the man down, blow the man down, and we're all of us coming to see you again. Oh, give me some time to blow the man down. So we'll blow the man up and we'll blow the man down. Blow the man down. And we'll blow him away into Liverpool town. Give me some time to blow the man down. Give me some time to blow the man down. Give me time.
Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Parsons. I'm normally a master's student in the choral program, but because of COVID, I'm staying home in Canada this year. I'm so grateful to get to be a part of this program in some small way. This is an arrangement that I wrote of the old Scottish folk song Cava Yeoz, which is based on a pastoral love poem by the poet Isabel Pagan in the 18th century. It's a beautiful telling of a shepherdess falling in love with all of this vibrant and beautiful kind of imagery of the fields and the stream, and I tried to capture it in the context of kind of the feeling of a reverberating memory from the narrator. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much to the Thorn Choir and to Garrett for bringing this piece to life. I'm so thankful. Take care.
Call them where the Hello, everyone. My name is Elaine Hagenberg, and I wanted to say a special thank you to Portland State University for sharing my composition, "Oh Love," on your concert program. This piece was inspired by a Scottish minister. His name was George Matheson, and he wrote this hymn text in 1882. George Matheson was blinded at the age of 19, and as a result, his fiancée actually called off their engagement. And years later, as he was remembering the pain and the heartache that he had experienced, he sat down and he penned the words to this hymn all in one setting. Now, my composition and my setting of these words has given a fresh new melody which uses ascending lines, which to me create a sense of hope-filled, renewed faith. And even though I include some lingering dissonances that maybe remind us of past heartaches, the beautiful promise remains, where I love the text that says, "Morn shall tearless be." Thank you again for including this piece on your concert.
Hello, my name is Brandon Waddles. I serve as Director of Choral Activities at Wayne State University, right here in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan. I am so excited, elated, humbled, honored, grateful to introduce you all to this experience, If My People, this piece which has been a part of my life for the past 15 years. It was my very first published piece, right with GIA. Ethan Sperry has been a great friend of mine, and I know that he and his singers are about to bring the fullness of the conversationalism, the intimacy that God speaks to us through this piece, the Second Chronicles scripture. And I believe that this piece has so much in connection to what is going on in our world right now. And so if we would be humble, and if we would pray, if we would think, if we would love, then healing would come to our land in such an amazing way. I thank you, I'm grateful, and I hope that a piece such as this will help to bridge the gap between artistry and humanity. If my people. Thank you.
If my
Hello everyone, my name is Zach Frunk and I'm a senior music education major at Portland State University. It has been a pleasure and an honor to work with the Rose Choir this last term. I was privileged to conduct a piece called Noneli Do Mi, or You Can't Dance With Me, which is a Ghanaian dance piece. It's kind of a fun back and forth teaser thing, written by J.M.T. Dosu and Jester Hairston. Dosu was a composer in Ghana and was a teacher at the Ada College of Education. Jester Hairston was a composer in America. He composed for lots of films, arranged over 300 spirituals, and was a Goodwill ambassador even in the 1960s. I'm really glad to be able to feature this piece in this concert by two composers of color who had written this piece, and it's not a spiritual. It is a fun, lively dance piece that is really fun to listen to and really fun to sing and conduct. I would really like to thank Ethan Sperry and Chase Shoemaker for giving me this opportunity, and I'd also like to thank you, the audience members, for continuing your support to Portland State University choirs and all the great work we're doing here. Again, I hope that you really enjoy this piece, and it was a lot of fun to work with the Rose Choir on this one. So hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Andrea Ramsay. I'm a composer of Truth, and I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. I wrote this piece during a pretty tough time after losing my mother, and you'll hear in the words that vulnerability and this idea of you are beautiful, you are enough, and these are things that I learned from my mother, and I hope that you enjoy this piece and this fantastic choir conducted by an incredible human, Dr. Ethan Sperry. Thank you.
I
Hello again, and thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's concert. We just have one song left, our title song, Still I Rise. And before you listen to that, I just wanted to make one more ask for supporting our students who are working their hardest to further their own educations at this most challenging of time, but also still to persevere and make art. You'll see a link on your screen here. You can type that in, or you can use the link on any of the social media platforms that you're watching on. But any money donated at this link will translate directly into scholarship money for the students you've seen in these two performances. We hope we will see you as soon as possible at a live concert. But until then, thanks for supporting us online, and we will always do our best to rise to the challenges that face us.
Hi, my name is Garrett Bond. I am a second-year master's student here at Portland State University, and I am the conductor of the Thorn Choir. Our final piece for this evening will be Still I Rise by Rosephanye Powell. Still I Rise was inspired by a poem by the same name by the poet Maya Angelou. Rosephanye writes this piece in a gospel style, speaking to the struggles of African American women, as well as the human condition. This piece is an anthem which describes strength and perseverance through life's difficulties, issues relating to self-esteem, abuse, prejudice, injustice, abandonment, and such. Though life or the past may be filled with tears and heartaches, these people who you have seen tonight stand together to show that we are stronger when we are united and not divided by that which makes us unique. Though life may be filled with tears and with heartache, we find that each day that we are still living, we grow stronger and rise a little higher, because we will not allow these circumstances to overcome us. Thus, every new day can be one filled with joy and hope, because regardless of our past or of the future, today we rise.
Yes, still.